Hey, we're Saints. Father Chris here. Welcome to our Crucifixional Lifestream. Glad to have you beautiful people with us. We're having a ball this week because we're talking about the way of the warrior saint and how we can make ourselves better men and women, really so that we can live exceptional lives. We don't have to get stuck in the mediocrity, in the mire that is mediocrity. And today we want to talk about the idea, or the sacrament rather, the relationship of marriage. Marriage is more than an idea. It's a beautiful thing. I am clearly biased. My bride is not only stunning physically, she is beautiful inside, her heart, her mind, her selflessness. I mean, the kid is amazing. And I'm very blessed because I don't deserve her, and I don't say that for, scoring brownie points. It's just, it is what it is. But we've been able to have a successful, healthy, awesome, fun, passionate, fiery, ferocious marriage for the last 25 years, and that's because we have both decided to live crucifixionally, not just in our own lives, but also within the marriage itself. And that's the message I want to give to us today, is like, look, it's work, right? Listen. I did some research this morning. Siri helped me, but the research said what we all know, that in the United States of America, we have a divorce rate of 50%. Bro, that's brutal, right? Literally, it's half of our marriages. Some studies say that is the sixth highest divorce rate in the world. Others say it's the highest divorce rate in the world. For those of us who live in the United States of America, that's pretty freaking scary. It's brutal. Why does that happen? I mean, marriage is hard, and there are times where when you're married, you live with another person. When you're with another person all the time, you have differing thoughts, differing emotions. Some days you feel good, some days you don't, right? I mean, some days you feel like a nut, and other days you don't. But when that happens, it can cause and lead to tension. Sometimes people make mistakes. I mean, like brutal mistakes within their marriage, and it causes friction, and it's rough. Why does that happen? I'll tell you why it happens. Because within marriages, when we choose to be selfish, we're going to get ourselves in trouble, right? I mean, that's just the short and long of it. I mean, if you want to succeed in any relationship, but particularly within a marriage, you have to be crucifixional. Now, we hear from St. Paul. I mean, that's not a revelation that I came up with. It's just one that I chose to live by. And therefore, thank God, with a beautiful wife, have a great marriage. Paul says this, wives and husbands and wives submit to one another to the Lord. And then he throws it at the husband. He's digging, but he's talking to all of us. Husbands, love your wives, right? Well, how do we love? How are we as husbands, and I say as wives also, how do we love our spouse as Christ loved the church? And he gave himself for it, right? That's the idea. How do you love? You love how Jesus loved. How did Jesus love? He loved crucifixionally. I mean, he died for us, and that's the message for us, right? Now, the challenge for those of us who are married and those who someday will be married, and hopefully sooner and some later, how do we do that? Because it's hard. Because when people they cheat. And I don't just mean in the bedroom. I mean cheat, just us out of things in life. When people lie, when people are hurtful, when people are abusive, God forbid, physically, but also verbally, emotionally, all that stuff. When they just lose interest or don't give the attention, spend all the time on the golf course, whatever it may be, right? All the things that happen within marriage. Look, then you throw children in the mix, and as lovely as they are, especially early on, they require more attention, i.e. less sleep, less patience. How do we deal with all that stuff? Like, how do we not end up just part of the statistics and part of the 50%? How do we end up as the good 50%? Well, I think the truth of that comes down to crucifixional living. How do I do that? Glad you asked. Plan for you. I got a plan. We got a plan. We have a plan. It's a plan. It's a plan that will help you live an exceptional life and, likewise, have a beautiful marriage. Here's what I'm talking about. As you know, the Word of God is life. It is what tells us how to live and how to live crucifixionally. How do we put that knowledge, understanding into action, into a plan? We did it for you. It's called The Way of the Warrior Saint. It is a 6-part plan, one part of which is dedicated to the heart, right? We use the metaphor of the human body. And the heart we decided to use as relationships in the world, with your children, with your coworkers, with your bosses, with God. One of them is with your spouse. This lesson we think was great. It's helpful to us. We want it to be helpful to you. So if you're ready to level up your marriage and your relationships, it's pretty simple. Visit warriorsaints.org and subscribe to The Way of the Warrior Saint. You're going to see the 6-part plan a-coming. One of the parts a-coming is about how to have healthy crucifixional marriages. Love you. We'll be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about the chaos in the world we face. Till then, as always, keep walking on the way.